Hi, it's a special day at Digesting Beer. I'm reviewing my first Farmstead beer. Not the first one I've ever had, but the first one I'm doing in a review here. And as you can hear, it is summertime, and that means it's crotch rocket weather. This one I just picked up at the brewery. I went, I guess, almost a whole week ago. I'm sure it's still fine in the growler. They say, they do like a week best consumed by date on there. This is the Double Galaxy, and what they call an Imperial Single Hop Pale Ale, and it only uses Galaxy hops. It's, I think, right at 8% alcohol. And I've had their single hop Citra and the double Citra, and those both were really good. And they seem like they're a little less bitter, even though they're all the hop flavor. So it kind of makes sense to call them pale ales instead of IPAs, because some of Farmstead's IPAs are pretty bitter and in your face. This one, I've never had their single hop Galaxy or the double Galaxy or anything like that from them before, so I'm very excited to try this one. Probably without too much further ado, of course, Galaxy is the extremely fruity, popular hop from Australia right now that I really love, and I got a good whiff of that right when I opened it. And I don't know if you can see, but they filled it literally to the top. It's about a centimeter from the top, which is pretty nice, because it's their weird wine-sized bottle growler. It's only 25.4 ounces, but I think we'll get enough out of this to taste it well. And usually their pale ales, at least their IPAs and things I've had, are real hazy and real fruity. Some of their experimental pale ales, like the ones I had there, were really hop pellety and pungent and almost too green in some ways. But their single hop ones I remember being super fruity, and this smells extremely fruity. It's got, it looks kind of like a Trillium beer, maybe a little bit darker actually, because it looks like they might use more than just simple two-row pale malt in this, but it's like opaque. I can't see any semblance of my finger through there. If I had some nice backlighting, this would probably look really pretty. And the head is super bubbly, soapy, thick. Looks like it's gonna stay there really well. And the aroma I'm getting already, it's fruity, juicy. Ooh. Wow. That's really, really nice. That's a very, very big aroma too. But it's just like lots of passion fruit and pineapple and peach. Definitely lots of peach going on, but I also get kind of a purple drink Cheerios thing happening too. That's probably some interaction of the fruitiness of the hops with the malt and the yeast. And I think I noticed that in their single hop Citra beers. But Citra and Galaxy I think are really, really similar. In some ways I think Galaxy tastes and smells a lot like just a more interesting Australian Citra. And the head is still sticking around really beautifully on there and bubbly and shiny. But it smells really good. It reminds me of a lot of Trillium beers and how they just get so much fruity aroma out of there. There's a little bit of a spicier tinge, more minerality perhaps. And it looks a little bit darker, and I'm not sure if that's coming from some caramel malts or something added to it, because I'm not smelling any toasty, caramely toffee things. It's really just pure tropical, fruity, sweet-smelling hops in the nose, and it's really pleasant. It's not a double dry hop sort of an intense aroma, but you don't have to get your nose deep in there to smell it, and it's making my mouth water a little bit already. Ooh. Soft but real spicy, tingly flavor. Good amount of bitterness, but real fruity. Getting a lot of spicy berry, almost reminds me of Simcoe. At the same time that the flavor kind of melds into a bitter orange juice, grapefruit thing. Really really nice. Yeah, the aroma was more tropical and soft. The flavor is a little bit more pungent. But I'm not getting a lot of, like, dank flavors, onion, garlic flavors, or scallion or anything much from that. It's really mostly fruit and spice going on with this beer. Mm. And I had a little bit of that, like, pineapple upside down cake thing I get from Galaxy and Citra too. Not quite cotton candy. It's got a pretty strong bitterness in the finish. I wasn't totally expecting that. Really makes it evolve from the smell to the finish. It's not all fruits in the flavor, but there's plenty of fruits going on. Just a little bit more bitter, more towards the citrusy end. Whereas the smell is just like an overripe fruit cocktail, tropical fruit cocktail. Mm. Yeah, it reminds me definitely of some Trillium double IPAs, except that sometimes I noticed, especially recently, that the Trillium beers are becoming a little less bitter and I'm noticing the sweetness more. This one is really firmly bitter, and there is some body to it. It's almost fluffy, but it's mostly a dry bitter finish for this beer, which I like quite a bit. They can make the aroma so fruity and decadent, like sweet and nectaries, and then the flavor gets really hot and spicy. I'm noticing the heat in my throat. I forgot to check exactly how hot this is. It might be 8.5, might be stronger than 8. I think it's 8 though, but no big deal. It's definitely around there, 8.5. The aroma is just perfect. Galaxy is kind of the newest, sexiest hop in my books. I'm kind of more into it than Mosaic and Citra probably at this point. Though it's so similar, it just has a little bit of a different kind of spicy green thing happening, because Mosaic and Citra can be really like salad onion when you use them a lot. This one there's something a little bit different going on. It's more of a peppery spice rather than the resinous quality, I would say. But yeah, very nice beer. I assume they've made this a couple times, maybe many times. It has really high ratings, and they really know what they're doing with this one. I enjoy it a lot. If you ever come anywhere near where this beer is, I recommend everyone to try it. The double Citra and Citra ones might have them down a little bit more. I don't remember those being quite as hot and bitter as this one, but I'm enjoying it a lot. It's great. Yeah, I think their well water just kind of brings out a mineral spicy quality that really makes this a complex beer, even though they're just using one hop, and it's probably pretty simple to brew. Just make sure you do it all right. But there's a lot of complexity to be found in Galaxy, and especially in Hill Farmstead's Double Galaxy Imperial Single Hop Pale Ale. I'm going to give it probably a 90. That's very nice. The only thing I would say is that maybe it's a little too hot in the throat, but it's a really enjoyable thing to drink after having so many Alchemist beers that are pretty dank, in your face, green resinous qualities, but then rather, smooth and citrusy in the finish. This one's all spice and fruit. So we'll do 90 for Hill Farmstead Double Galaxy. Goodbye.